Hello CSA, once again this is Major Cody James Paul Johnson, Chaplain over the CSA. Today's introduction will be further information on me. Well, it's important for you all to know exactly who I am since I am your chaplain. I will start by saying this: I am the mountain preacher, the Appalachian mountain preacher that CNN warned you about. I have zero tolerance for sin. I have zero tolerance for Christians who give anything less than 100% to God. I love God, and I expect Christians to love God. I expect Christians to love Christ. While I do have zero tolerance for sin and zero tolerance for anything less than 100% love for Christ, I do love people, and I think it's important for us to love other people, even if we don't agree 100% with them. And, of course, we won't agree 100% with everybody we meet. As head over to the CSA, I feel it's important that my assistant chaplain, you should research the role of chaplains in the War of Northern Aggression. As I stated in my first video, I am not a Calvinist, I am Wesleyan Arminian. I believe grace is free to anybody who will accept it. I have two ordinations. I'm an independent, licensed, ordained minister under the NACM, or the National Association of Christian Ministers. I was also ordained by Reverend Mike Perry of Wacklaw, Kentucky. Wacklaw is in Badeville, Kentucky. I am Wesleyan Arminian. I believe in free grace, as has already been said. And I encourage you that if today you don't know the Lord, that right now you're just wandering out there astray in the world, that you make that commitment to Jesus Christ right now. It has also come to my attention that many of you all do not know the meaning or where the term Dio Vindict came from. Dio Vindict was a term created by the Confederate Bible Society. During the War of Northern Aggression, the American Bible Society was forbidden by President Abraham Lincoln of the Yankees. He basically told the American Bible Society that they weren't allowed to give Bibles to the Confederates. So, of course, the American Bible Society smuggled Bibles to the South, but they couldn't do that forever, so the Confederate Bible Society was started, and that was their logo, Dio Vindict, which means God will vindicate in Latin. Now, about my personal self. I was born in November in a small town in southeastern Kentucky by the name of Hazard. I was born to a family that weren't Christians, but I made the decision very early that I wanted to be a Christian, that I wanted to follow the Lord and give my life to God, do everything that He seemed fitting. So I did. When I was 5 years old, that's when I decided that I wanted to be a minister. I was at my mother's house sitting in front of the television, watching a movie called Sheffey about Robert Sheffey, who was a Methodist circuit rider in the Appalachian Mountains during the time period. This CSA recruiting organization is a wonderful thing for people of the South, especially now more than ever, seeing that we're being attacked from every direction. We've got the liberals attacking us, we've got Democrats attacking us, we've got Republicans attacking us, saying that we're racist, when in fact that couldn't be farther from the truth. There's an organization right now going on called Heritage Not Hate, and they really have a strong message, and I really support that message, because it's not about hate. I'm not racist. You can look on my personal page. My best friend, my brother, is black. There's nothing racist about me. The thing is that my great-grandfather, Ewell Wilder, fought and died in the War of Northern Aggression. And that's important to me, because he died for a senseless reason, because the Yankees had to come and start bothering us for no reason. Abraham Lincoln is documented saying that if he could keep the Union together with slavery, he would. Abraham Lincoln was 100% in support of slavery, despite what you'll hear told on TV. If you look at history, we can see Abe Lincoln's perspective on slavery. And in fact, we know that Robert E. Lee, the head general of the Confederate Army, was the exact opposite. He was not in favor of slavery. And our job, besides that, our job as Christian Confederates, our job as Christian Southerners, I'm going to tell y'all a story. During the War of Northern Aggression at the Battle of Gettysburg, there was a Methodist minister, a Methodist chaplain there by the name of Alexander Betts. And he said that he was walking through the field and he came across a Yankee soldier. His hip was out of place, he had a bullet in his chest, and he was getting ready to die. And he looked up at him and basically said, "Are you going to kill me?" The Reverend Betts looked at him and said, "You came here to kill my brothers, but no, I will not kill you." And he prayed with that man right as he died, and that's our jobs as Christians. Of course, the War of Northern Aggression is over. Our job as Christians is to be ambassadors between the two separate groups, while still holding our firm ground as Confederates. To explain to the side that's against us, this is what you think this is about. You think this is about hate. That is not what it's about. It's about preserving our heritage as Southerners, as Confederates. We can all agree that the War of Northern Aggression was a bad thing. It was very sad that it happened. And that's something that we can all agree on, whether our opinion is to remove Confederate monuments or to keep Confederate monuments. The Civil War was a bad thing. But we need to somehow find a way to make liberal America, liberal Democrats, understand that these monuments are not per se God's monuments to slavery. They're monuments to our family who fought and gave their lives for something they believed in. In fact, I can guarantee that if the South would have won the War of Northern Aggression, slavery would have disappeared after 60 years anyway. Because if you look around the world, if you look all around, slavery everywhere ended around that time period. Of course, there's still like sex slaves and stuff, but that's a different kind. Slavery on an economic level is gone. And I believe that if the South would have won in 60 years, it would have been gone anyway. And I want to leave you with a verse out of 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 19. It says, "For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and will bring nothing under the standing of the prudent." And I just want y'all to meditate on that for a while. That really has a lot to do with the Latin term Deo Vindicate, or God will vindicate. So, now I will do the blessing. This is not an actual blessing video. This is just about me and my opinions and helping you to understand the role of chaplains during that time period. May Christ go with you. May He bless you in many ways. May He use you to bless each and every person you come in contact with. Remember, I love you and the Lord loves you. And if you don't know the Lord right now, if you're wandering out there astray, I highly recommend that you make that decision, that you give your life to Christ. Because you might not have the opportunity when this video goes off. You might not have the opportunity again. But that man up there, that man loves you. I love you, and the Lord loves you. Hold it down, y'all. This has been Major Cody James Paul Johnson, Chaplain of the CSA. Hold it down, y'all.